For people to say Aaron Rodgers didn't play good, Brady got carried by a defense and had like two good throws all game. You throw three picks against Kansas City, you're going to get boated by 40, guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Unlike the Packers, Mahomes knows how to score.
Well, and with that, let's get started.
Okay. Let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, here on a Monday night, and I got the crew with me. As you saw, let me go ahead and bring them all in here. First, of course, let's bring in our girl, co-host of the Martine Gramatica Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on zliving.com, and is so excited. She has decked out and changed her whole, decor in her house. Our girl, Miss Ruth the Truth. Ruth, what's going on?
What's up, everybody? Listen, I don't have a lot of new things. I just kind of rearranged my office since I've been doing a lot of Bucks media stuff. So that's kind of why you see everything just kind of. But don't worry. It's Super Bowl time, so we got to get real. We got to get up to date with what's going on. So, how you doing, Eric? Thanks for having me back.
I'm glad to have you back. I forgot to mention she does Beauty in the Cleats every Wednesday at 8. She does the Tom Gronkowski Show at 9 o'clock. This girl is all over the place, and I know she is super excited, and we will get to that momentarily. Let me go ahead and bring in, I guess he is, I don't know how he's feeling, so I'm not going to speak for him. I'll let him speak for himself. Turning both sides of the story, Mr. Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. I got no complaints.
I'm a fan of mine right now.
Okay.
I'm happy that I get to, work once again with Ruth and, be part of SFBN here in the future as well. So,
is this permanent? Is this really happening?
Yeah. Yeah. We're just working out the details right now. So that's
awesome. Welcome aboard, buddy.
Thanks.
You have to let us know what FSF, whatever that
Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. It's actually the network that gave me the Tom Gronkowski Show. We've grown from 6 podcasts to 20 podcasts in the past, I would say like 6 months, maybe. I started the Tom Gronkowski Show back in August. So we've been doing a lot of growing. On the website, you can find the articles, all the podcasts. They have a lot going on between MMA, political stuff, sports. They're all over the place. Yeah. But we're soon to be hitting television as well. So that is going to be the next goal.
And I'm just hearing about this now. Okay, I get it.
Surprise, buddy.
Last but not least, I don't know what he's doing out there in Arizona, but I guess we got to include him. Mr. Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast.
Wow. What I'm doing.
What have you been up to, Michael Caratanudo?
Ellie, welcome.
I've been waiting for the Cowboys to give Dak Prescott his contract and then to sign Zach Ertz, Ruth, because that would make me so happy when Zach Ertz becomes a Cowboy and has a star in his helmet.
I would like that.
Besides that, ASU lost a depressing game to that crappy school down south. I don't say their names. That would be U of A for you guys that don't know. But anyway, it's the only time I'll say it. But they lost on a buzzer beater. Foul didn't get called. Just like it happens. And
not getting called versus getting called. I want to jump right into tonight. And I want to talk to the two people who are actually on my, I guess you would say, right. I don't know how you folks are looking at this, but Ruth and Jake, I want to start the conversation with the two of you because the game yesterday, here is what I will say. I'm not blaming the refs. I'm not blaming the offensive line, defensive core. I'm not blaming anybody. What I'm simply saying to you is you have to be consistent from start to finish. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to let guys play and kind of get away with a couple of things, then you got to be consistent about it. So, Ruth, I'm going to start with you on this because, ever since you became the co-host of the Martine Gramatica Show, the Bucks have just seemed to figure things out. Yes. I am giving all high praise to you. I know you are celebrating and have been celebrating. I'm not sure if you were driving down the Howard Franklin honking your horn last night after you were at the Hard Rock, but take us through your emotions after you found out that the Bucks were basically writing history.
So yesterday with Martine and I, we did the live broadcast at the Hard Rock Casino here in Tampa, and that was a lot of fun. We had a great turnout. Everybody practiced social distancing, wearing masks, that whole nine. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, once the game started, you could just feel the energy in the room. It was electric. I mean, we had Bucks fans left and right, and they were just ready to see history be made. And once the final score came to play, like excitement erupted throughout the whole entire Hard Rock and throughout the whole city of Tampa. I mean, everybody's really excited that not only have we made it to the playoffs, not only did we win those first 2 games on the road, but we were actually able to pull off a win at the frozen tundra against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And I feel bad for Rodgers because I feel like he didn't have as bad as a game as Tom Brady did. I mean, he took care of the ball. There was no turnovers, but it kind of seemed like he wasn't on the same page as their coaching staff on the sideline when it came to that calling that the field goal kick at the very end when they had a chance to score a touchdown and possibly go for a 2-point conversion to tie the game. I don't know. I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been playing throughout the season with that whole no risk it, no biscuit, and it's actually been working out for them. So I was surprised with the outcome, but I'm more than excited that the Tampa Bay Bucks are making history, and they're going to be the first team in NFL history to play the Super Bowl in their backyard at the Raymond James Stadium. And I am more than excited to have a credential and be there and be able to witness all the madness.
And I mean, congratulations not only to you, but to Martine. I know this was a big moment for him as the last time that the Bucks went to the Super Bowl, he in fact was their kicker. So now to be able to, I guess, come full circle, if you will, and experience it, not just as a media, but also as a fan and as a, future Hall of Famer. I mean, this is something that I know he has been waiting for, and congratulations to him. Yeah. Jake, I have to go to you, brother, with this one because, the talk last week was the 2 best quarterbacks, 2 future Hall of Famers going at it in Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers hosting his first NFC Championship game in Lambeau. And for all the talk of, you draft Jordan Love in the first round, you don't get him any weapons, and then the Packers go 13-3, you're the number 1 seed. Jake, talk to me about what happened yesterday, because the first half of the game looked, in my opinion, completely different than the second half of the game.
I felt like I was watching Dumb and Dumber, smart people doing idiotic things. And I just did not understand what in the world the Packers were thinking. I mean, you got Mike Pettin deciding, let's do a man-to-man coverage off the left side with about 10 seconds left. And what does Brady do? He finds Scotty Miller for 39-yard touchdown. To me, that was the game. I didn't care what was going to happen next. Even when the Packers were on the move in the comeback, I was not confident in this team because of just the way that they just came out. And Tom Brady gives them not 1, not 2, but 3 prized interceptions. And this is what they got out of it. In their last 2 interceptions, after they got a 13-play, 68-yard touchdown, 6 plays, -5 yards, 2 punts in the last 2 turnovers. You cannot do that when Tom Brady, with the greatest of all time, gives you that gift, and the Packers give nothing back. Also, they abandoned the running game, 16 rushes, 67 yards. The offensive line was not at their best. 5 sacks on Aaron Rodgers as well. Jason Pierre-Paul was absolutely fantastic yesterday. Lavonte David got to him. Shaquille Barrett got to him. So I give a lot of credit to the way Todd Bowles really set up that front 7 and knew exactly what to do, because that left side was missing David Bakhtiari. I like Billy Turner, but I love David Bakhtiari, and you could see that. Not to mention, this defense needs a massive overhaul once again. 28 unanswered points. You cannot do that. You can't be down 28-10 with 3 plays into the second half and think you're going to win this ball game. Mike Pettin is going to be fired this week. Kevin King, get your resume ready, man. You are the worst football player out there, and it shows. The pass interference call, the deep ball pass, you showed nothing, no good tackling skills. It's time for the Packers to go into a very interesting time now in this franchise, because there's going to be a lot of questions. I'm just waiting for the answers.
Mike is chomping at the bit here. I see him. Look at you, Mike. So go ahead, bro. Get it off your chest.
Jake and I spoke last night, so some of this will be a repeat to him. I had to call him because Eric, you said the one thing. There's no blame, but the word is consistency. And I've said to you, you and I have had this conversation. I've had it with them too, but you've had a million times. If it's a penalty in the first game and the 16th game, then it's a penalty in the playoffs. And what I said to Jake last night, missing Bakhtiari was huge because, yes, that's your left tackle. That's the blind side. And I don't think there's as many pressures if he's there. Yes, there will be sacks, but it'll be different. They got away on that play. Fine. You want to call PI because he had his hand on the undershirt? Cool. Rock on. How about the guy that was getting chokeholded behind Tom Brady, and it's a holding call? It's offsetting penalties. And I said to Jake, the next play, Tom Brady could have thrown for another first down. But guess what? In the whole coulda, shoulda, woulda, if game, he also could have thrown a pick six. Who knows, right? So if at least make offsetting calls, because that is what drives fan bases nuts, is when they tell referees don't be a part of the game. Well, then don't make those same calls all year long. Like, call it the same. Just because it's the playoffs or the Super Bowl or playoffs or, Super Bowl, anything. But yes, for Aaron Rodgers not to run the ball, I see he's looking at his receiver, but that throw was as bad. It didn't get intercepted as Tom Brady's deep interception because you're supposedly the greatest. The safety just sprinted back like he's on top. He's doing his job. Nobody's behind him. And he just comes over for that deep ball interception like it was nothing. So Aaron Rodgers is looking right at the double team. And people can say, well, he wasn't looking downfield. I'm sorry. He's a 16, 17-year vet. He can feel nothing in front of him. Run the ball. But Matt LaFleur, look, I didn't say this to Jake last night, but I kind of blame Matt LaFleur. Run the ball on first down. Take it to the 2-minute warning. You have 3 timeouts. So if you run the ball, say you get 5 yards. If it does come to 4th and goal on the 3, or say 4 yards, 4th and goal on the 4, you're still going to go for it on the 4. There's a lot you can do. Take it to the 2-minute warning. You have your 3 timeouts. You pass it 3 straight times, 3 straight incompletions. That's what I'm more mad about. I understand not leaving the ball, being upset for not leaving the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands because it should have been. But I also understand 4 timeouts. Your defense, again, has created those turnovers. They've done a good job. It wasn't like there was an explosion of points by the Bucs in the second half. So kick the field goal, roll the dice. But your defense has to play better, and you at least should have the opportunity to get offsetting calls because, once again, everybody wants to say how great all these quarterbacks are, but when they get these calls, it's just frustrating because if I'm a Packers fan, I'm frustrated because you didn't put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands. I'm frustrated because he didn't run it, and I'm muy frustrated because, like you said, Eric, consistency. You did not get – I mean, look, I told Jake last night, if all of us were 6'3" and 6'4", and 250, 280, 290, 300 pounds, and we could do that, we would have been all pros for 10 years, man, because I could hold with the best of them, man. I am not letting you get to my quarterback.
There's no question about it. I just, what I look at this, and one thing that you said that I kind of didn't want to bring up, but since you brought it up, I'm going to go to Jake and say, Jake, let me ask you a question. I understand that Davante Adams is your number 1 wide receiver, but if you throw to him 3 times in the end zone and he doesn't come up with anything, like after the first or second time, that third down, I'm looking for Scantling. I'm looking for Lazard. I'm looking for Tonyan. I'm looking for somebody other than Davante, because clearly the Bucs defense knows no matter what, we got to make sure he does not get the ball. And for Aaron Rodgers to think that, to go back to back to back to Davante Adams, thinking that the result was going to be different, that one was my mind-boggling piece, Jake.
Eric, can I say one thing? Can I say one thing before Jake
Eric,
talks? How about Aaron Jones? How about Aaron Jones out of the backfield too? Just a little dump to Aaron Jones because everybody was dropping off.
He got hurt, though. So it was Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon. But you're right, though. I mean, they still had A.J. Dillon. They still had Jamal Williams. They got to still run that football. I don't understand the play calling either. All of a sudden, they abandoned the run, and they decided to play hero ball. I could not believe all the passes that Aaron Rodgers was trying to attempt, and they weren't happening. And then you get down to the red zone. You got this chance, this opportunity, and what happens? Pass, pass, pass. And then, like you said, where was Scantling? Where was Lazard? Where was Big Bob Tonyan? Where were the rest of the receivers? Mercedes Lewis out there. All it was Davante Adams here. He's not Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron. You don't have to give him his receptions. He's just as unselfish as you are with the football when you scan it. And then you mentioned that run. Yes, he should have ran that ball in, but he wouldn't have scored, I don't think. I think he would have got down to the 2-yard line. But then I think Rodgers would have been so excited, he would have ran over and said, LaFleur, we have to go for it. We need this. But because it didn't happen that way, LaFleur decided to take it upon himself. Rodgers dropped the ball, though. He should have got in the face of LaFleur and said, no, we need to go for this, coach. We have a chance here. I can win it for you. Because this is the same quarterback after he scored that touchdown that told his defense, make a stop. And what do? They got him an interception, not once but twice on that after he said those words. And Aaron Rodgers was not able to finish it. Instead, he was just a bridesmaid at the wrong wedding.
Yeah, and I have to take a moment again. I don't want to put so much emphasis on the Packers,
but
I have to go back. I have to go back to Ruth and say, being in this position, Ruth, you have watched this team this whole entire season, and you've had an up close and personal look with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tell me right now how you are feeling coming into this situation, knowing that you are about to be a part of history, knowing that you are going to be in Raymond James Stadium on the biggest stage for the biggest game. Tampa has already written history. We already know that. But Tom Brady has a true opportunity to clearly, there will be no other discussion. There will be no other conversation with regard to who is the greatest of all time in the NFL if Tampa Bay is successful. Talk to me about what's going on with you right now and just being a part of this moment.
So from my perspective, can't we already put him in that conversation? I mean, this is going to be his 10th Super Bowl run, but whether or not he wins this game, does that take away from what his resume has already shown everybody? I already feel like he's on that top tier conversation that we really can't put anybody next to him. So regardless of the outcome of this Super Bowl win, Tom Brady is still going to be the GOAT, and no one's going to be in comparison to him until somebody is able to bring up 6 rings or have that many Super Bowl appearances to come anywhere close to him. Like what he's been able to do by leaving a franchise that he was with for 19, 20 seasons to come to the Bucs and bring them to the Super Bowl. I mean, conversation over. Like he's the GOAT.
Okay.
And regardless of how the Super Bowl ends up, I mean, no one expected, and I called it. I actually had James Flash Ludeman from Set the Sales FaceTime me yesterday, and he was like, wow, when everybody was making fun of you for saying that Tom Brady was going to be able to bring the Bucs to the Super Bowl, we are all not laughing now. And I was like, I told you guys. I told you.
The thing. I said
Todd Bowles' defense had a lot to do with that.
Hold on, Mike.
Regardless of how it got done. I feel like having Tom Brady in the locker room kind of made everybody believe.
I was very much in agreement with you. The moment I found out that he got signed, I said things are falling into place. I've spoken to WFLA reporters. I've spoken to other podcasters who are wholly based solely on the Bucs. And I'm like, listen, everything is falling into place. My only hiccup was when the Bucs signed Antonio Brown, and Ruth, you and I had that conversation. Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like he was necessary, but whether he's there or he's not there, the Bucs got it done. And listen, Tom Brady walks into a locker room. You're right. You're absolutely right, Ruth. Everybody on that team elevates their game because they are playing with the greatest of all time. What I will say, and then I want to finish this out, and Mike, I'll give you the last word, is simply this. It's not going to be a detriment to his legacy, but the conversation has been Bucs or bust. Now, he has done with the team everything to get them to this point. And they've got 2 weeks till they get to the dance.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be at home. There's going to be 22,000 fans in Raymond James watching this happen. And I got to give a special shout out to the NFL for letting healthcare workers and first responders and all of them. We talked about this months ago, and I said, you know what? You better do this. I guess they were listening.
Absolutely.
I am just of the mindset that if Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Buccaneers, I think that is going to be that one piece that people are going to still criticize him on. Has it been written in stone? Yes. Have they created history? Yes. His legacy cemented? Yes. But
I mean, when he lost to Philadelphia, did that take away from,
it was in Minnesota, and Brady doesn't do well against NFC East teams. The 3 times that he has lost the Super Bowl, he has lost to NFC East teams. Twice to the Giants and once to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So, but now he's on the NFC side. Okay. So now he's playing, you can, I heard people call it passing the torch. I've heard people call it, GOAT versus baby GOAT. I've heard them call,
MJ versus LeBron.
I've heard
MJ versus
I've heard that, but I've heard like the GOAT versus the kid. You know, I've heard them all. Brady has to. This is truly going to be, in my opinion, the biggest moment, because at 43 years old, you go into Raymond James Stadium, your team, and you win the Super Bowl. From that point on, no one can say anything about him except his wife, of course. Mike, last word, then we're moving on.
Look, what he does to a locker room, I'll agree with you, Eric. You made the point, because it's the same thing when Peyton Manning went to Denver. Like, not that they had a bad locker room, but the attitude changed. And yes, Peyton Manning with the neck surgery wasn't the same, but still got another Super Bowl with the Broncos. Look, I'll look at it like this. This is why you say, and like I said, J.J. Watt, Richard Sherman had it going back and forth on Twitter. Instead of saying GOAT, say it'd be GOTE, greatest of an era. Now, look, if you're going to compare early careers, like, you know, GOAT versus baby GOAT, right? The first 3 years, as a starter, Patrick Mahomes has been an MVP, has been in the playoffs every year, and won a Super Bowl. And I just said this to one of my friends last night, because he's a Bucs fan, and he's all happy, and that's cool. I get it. But I said, look, if you're going to compare, you break down parts of their careers. I mean, the first 3 years, there's nothing Tom Brady did on the field that Patrick Mahomes can't do. Okay. Secondly, the year after they won the Super Bowl, what did Tom Brady do the next year? He didn't even go to the playoffs. And I'm not nitpicking. I'm not trying to pull thin hairs here. I'm just saying there's nothing that Patrick Mahomes couldn't do. It's like, if you want to say you want to go greatest by each position, fine. Because, and Eric, I've said this to you a million times, and we know this. Tell me one thing on a field that Tom Brady could do that Lawrence Taylor couldn't do. Like, Lawrence Taylor couldn't throw a ball, but tell me one thing on defense. Lawrence Taylor changed the game. Like, he changed the game. How offensive tackles are looked at, everything. That being said, I respect everything he's done. You know, I can't stand him, Eric, but I respect everything he's done. It takes a lot to play quarterback at a high level. But this is why I have an issue saying greatest of all time, because I can look at all three of you and say, okay, you've been to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 6. They've won 6. Obviously, the whole team has a lot to do with that. I can also say that Joe Montana went to 4, never lost, never threw an interception. Like, and people can go off of everything. That being said, I respect everything he's done. And if they do somehow beat the Chiefs, then yes, everybody's going to go on with that. But Todd Bowles' defense, all I was trying to say to Ruth before, is Todd Bowles' defense had a lot to do with it, especially down the stretch. But look,
I mean, how long has Tampa's defense been relevant? And they were still 7-9 last season. They still haven't made the playoffs in the past 13 years. I mean, they haven't had a terrible defense the past couple of years.
Well, right, but I'm just saying Todd Bowles takes him over the top. Right. Todd Bowles, with what he's able to do, and look, being around him out here in Arizona, again, I'm not saying, and some people, you know, like Eric and I have said before, might not be head coaches, but I'm just saying, like, Todd Bowles is a defensive coordinator. It's going to be tough for Andy Reid, but again, there's nobody that can cover Tyreek Hill in the world. So,
all right, well,
are the Eagles?
This conversation, we got to put a pin in it because we got to move on. I want to respect everybody's time, and we got Alex in the wings here, so I want to bring him in for the AFC side of things. I know he has covered the Bucs, and trust me, there'll be plenty of Alex and the Buccaneers coming up in a week. So I want to move on to the AFC matchup, and let me get him in here, Mr. Alex Fleming. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Alex, welcome to the show, my man.
Welcome, Ruth. Nice to see you. I see you putting in work with Martin Grammatica show. Jay,
trying.
I was listening in while I was driving back from the arena. Thank you for being so gracious, and everything you said was absolutely on point. Mike, Arizona, glad to see you still alive. Eric, talk to me.
So we're going to switch over to the AFC matchup, which was Kansas City versus Buffalo. And Alex, you even made me a part of Bills Mafia and Bills Mania. Unfortunately, when you go against a guy who had a turf toe and came out of concussion protocol, it was just one of those things where I was like, what else is this man capable of doing? But give me your perspective on what you saw last night between Buffalo and Kansas City.
Buffalo didn't take advantage of opportunities. They kicked the field goal to start, and then they got the cheap, easy touchdown because McCole Hardman didn't know how to field a punt. 9 points isn't going to give you a good buffer against the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw last year against Houston, they were down 21, and they were like, you know what, hold my beer. Buffalo desperately needs a running back. They didn't have a running game last night, and when your quarterback is the leading rusher, that's signs of trouble. Mookie broke the news before Cold Front did that Cole Beasley was playing with the broken fibula. My goodness, what a warrior. Shout out to Cole Beasley. It's the offseason now. Please heal. Stephon Diggs was good last night, but he wasn't great. They held him to 78 yards. In anybody's book, the way that he's been playing, that's a win. Real talk, that's a win. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, the menaces, maniacs, savages. What can you say? Tyreek Hill took a simple 8-9 yard pass for 71 yards. Travis Kelce was a beast, beating down linebackers and safeties. 13 catches, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. You can't allow that if you plan on beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes threw for 300 yards. The defense showed up, was playing bracket coverage. Nobody was getting open, or at least not early in the game. In every way, shape, and form, the Kansas City Chiefs dismantled and outclassed the Buffalo Bills. So congrats to the defending champions.
I was hoping for a closer game. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I wanted to see a shootout, but I mean, the way the Buffalo Bills kind of like fell off in that second half, I was just like, oh, here we go. I mean, they were down by 20 for the longest time.
I'll say this about the Bills. Okay. I'll say this about the Bills, and Alex, I'm with you. I mean, Tyreek Hill, I mean, you look at 9 for 172. He had the 71-yarder. Even if he doesn't have that, he still has 8 catches for 101 yards. Like, that's a day for anybody. Look, Josh Allen, I mean, he tried to put the team on his shoulders. I think he started pressing like he did against the Texans last year. But that being said, either way, I mean, defensively, Spagnuolo had all the answers. He had all the answers that they needed. And, yeah, I think that you can't – everybody's saying, look, you can't kick field goals against the Chiefs. And, yes, you're right. But in the first half, there's a time and a place. You got to know your team. I think I would have went for it on the second 4th down. I mean, you converted one. You get, like Alex said, I mean, that easy touchdown. I mean, Hardman's like, oh, I have the ball. Charlie Brown, it's on the ground. Like, you get that. You convert real fast. You have them on the ropes. But you're right. I mean, they're down 9-0, and you figure – like, everybody felt that I was watching the game with, like, oh, they're not out of the game. Like, we know who they have. And I'm like, yeah, but the Bills defense. And then, look, they just went to work. I mean, I think Sean McDermott got a teeny bit out-coached by Andy Reid, who's been there obviously 3 straight times in 2 different conferences, obviously. But if you're the Buffalo Bills, yeah, Cole Beasley. I mean, Alex, I like this how it was worded today, a partially broken leg. You either have a broken leg or you don't. It can't be partially. That was kind of funny when I saw the report. But, yeah, he's a warrior. And I mean, look, the Bills are going to be around for a while, but they definitely needed Moss. Not that he would have ran all over the Chiefs defense, but They needed Moss. Singletary didn't do enough.
Yeah, I think losing Zach Moss was a terrible blow for them. Again, I think it was against the Colts earlier in the playoffs, correct?
It was against the Colts.
Well, my question was Josh Allen always dropping back that far, like throughout the whole season, or was that just something that he was pulling off yesterday? Because I kept seeing him drop back 15 steps and take a sack, and I'm just like, what is he doing? Like, does he not believe in his offensive line? Does he not believe in the protection that he has? You know, like he's usually that type of quarterback where he's, you know, going to take that hook around. Go ahead, Alex.
No, actually, let me get Jake in here real quick, and then Alex, I'll give you the final word. Go ahead, Jake.
The biggest problem with the Buffalo Bills yesterday was they were not able to protect Josh Allen. The 2 tackles off the left and right side were being blitzed heavily by the likes of Frank Clark yesterday, and that was a huge mistake there. Also, Anthony Hitchens really stepped up his game. Damian Wilson was in there, and they were just causing him to get out of the pocket. Once they got him out of the pocket and got him right close to the sideline, they knew that either Allen was going to try and throw it or he was going to throw it out of bounds, and that's how they were going to win. This Chiefs defense is gutty. They are a middle-of-the-road defense, but they know how to step up in clutch times. And when they were down 9-0, they knew they had to get the Buffalo Bills offense off the field immediately and get Josh Allen out of sync, and that's exactly what they did. Patrick Mahomes and that explosive offense just did their thing like they always do. Yeah, they were down 9-0, but that was nothing. The Chiefs can come back from any deficit. It is crazy to me how well coached they are, how well they're ran in the front office, and you saw it last night. The Buffalo Bills will be fine. They're going to be around for the next couple of years. This is only year 3 of their rebuild. They're going to be in the playoffs next year. They're going to have an explosive offense with Stefon Diggs. They got to get a better running game, maybe some better offensive tackles, maybe look into a better safety out there by Micah Hyde, and you'll be fine.
Alex, final word, then we're going to move on.
Where Buffalo lost this game, offensive line, pass rusher, running back. Offensive line couldn't hold the pressure from the Kansas City Chiefs. They got next to no pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And if you're just going to let him sit back in the pocket, he's just going to carve you up like beef. Safety. They don't have an enforcer. If you pop Travis Kelce in the mouth, he's going to think twice about going across the middle and just bullying your linebackers. And last but not least, I love Josh Allen. I love his game, and I love his progression. But he takes some of the worst sacks I've seen in my life. I've seen him take a 23-yard sack against the Indianapolis Colts, an 18-yard sack against the Baltimore Ravens, and a damn near 40-yard sack against the Kansas City Chiefs. You need to let him know that his offensive line is going to protect him. Buffalo, it's simple. Offensive line, running back, enforcer.
Fair enough.
And Eric, can I just say that he trusts to Alex's point? All I was going to say to Ruth is he'll drop back so much because he trusts his arm that can sling the ball 80 yards, but it's a mistake because it messes with the offensive line's blocking. That's all I'm saying.
So why do you think Stefon Diggs was the only one from the Bills on the sidelines when they were crowning the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship? You guys saw that?
Oh, I did see that, and that was a very interesting picture to see that he was the only Buffalo Bills guy to be out there on the field as Kansas City received, their trophy, being crowned AFC champs. Okay, let me pull a page out of Jake's book. I'll tell both sides of the story here. Stefon Diggs is a class guy, okay? He takes his wins like he takes his losses. He accepts victory, he accepts defeat. It's a brotherhood. And in a time like this, you have to show some solidarity. And for him to remain out there and be the guy and say, you know what, even if no one else on my team is going to stand out here, I will represent the organization that has welcomed me in, and I will be in support of this because it is a brotherhood and we need to stand up and support one another. Now, on the flip side of that, I have to say that this might have just been something that he was like, I've never experienced this. So let me see what this feels like. And then I'm going to take this feeling, I'm going to take it back to my teammates and say, I want y'all to know something. We will not let this happen to us again. We will make sure that if we have to face this same exact team next year in Arrowhead, we will be the ones hosting that trophy. Because what I felt tonight watching this other team take something from me that should have been ours is going to be my fuel for the 2020-21 season.
Go ahead,
That's
Jake.
my thought on it.
I was just going to say, it was just Stefon Diggs just reminding himself that there is a reason to come back feeling confident about the following year. It's the same thing with what happened with the Clemson game. When they saw Ohio State winning that game and the celebration was happening, that Clemson player was not able to see it. So he just watched on and he said, I'll be back. I will be back because I'm going to take this team and we're going to be back in this game, in this college football playoff next year. It's just that kind of thing. It's kind of starting to become like a trend. It's actually a trend I truly respect because it just feels like they just want to play again. They wish that the season was starting tomorrow. Basically.
Well, from your guys' neck of the woods, I mean, I remember when the Lakers won the title in Orlando, and Jameer Nelson and Dwight Howard sat on the bench and watched, the confetti come down. And Jameer Nelson said in an interview later that before the season started up, because the reporter asked him, why would you guys sit there? And he said basically what you guys are saying. He'd never seen it, but he also said that they're not going to have that feeling again. And,
right.
He figured things will work out better with him and Dwight Howard. But he said that's why they sat there on the bench. And literally watched the whole celebration, went up, congratulated the Lakers. But if I got that far, and I'm with you guys, the Bills, they're not going anywhere. Josh Allen's a guy. Yes, they do need to shore things up, but yeah, most athletes, again, you get that far, you can't stand out there and watch that.
Yeah.
My thing is this: it's fuel. That's all it's going to be. Stephon Diggs is going to have a monster year, barring health or injury or COVID. He is going to have a monster year next year because him and Josh Allen trust each other that much more. And to all the points that Jake and Alex made, if Buffalo, which we know them to be when it comes to drafting, they draft their needs, Buffalo is going to be back. And I guarantee you, the matchup that we saw yesterday, it may or may not have a different result, but Stephon Diggs will truly leave everything out on the field if next year the AFC Championship game is Buffalo versus Kansas City, the rematch in Arrowhead. So, all right, 30 seconds. We'll be right back. More with the Sports Arena. Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside our girl, co-host of the Martine Gramatica Show, Miss Ruth the Truth, telling both sides of the story, Jake Rongholt, and telling Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, Mr. Michael Carrot Tenuto. So Alex is having a few technical issues. He's getting them worked out. He's going to be back in a few minutes. While he's out, though, I want to pose this question to each one of you, and I have to know. We're going to play a little quarterback carousel here. I'm going to give each of you about 30 seconds. I need you to tell me where you think this particular quarterback, I got 5 on my list here, where you think this quarterback is going to start next season. And Ruth, I'll start with you. The first guy up, Matthew Stafford.
Atlanta.
Easy enough. Okay. Jake, where do you think Matthew Stafford's going to wind up?
Washington football team.
Okay. Mike?
As much as it pains me, because I think he just would kill for him, is San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan with Matthew Stafford, George Kittle, those receivers. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? San Francisco is where he ends up.
I actually like Matthew Stafford for Indianapolis. Now that I think about it, with Phillip Rivers making his exit, him being a veteran quarterback and already knowing the system, I feel like he would be a great fit. I mean, Matthew Stafford has an arm. I mean, he's only 31 years old. Someone on ESPN was like, "Oh, he's like 36." He's 31 years old. He's still a young cat. Like, he's still got plenty of years ahead of him. I can see it. The Colts are built to win right now. So they just need that puzzle piece to fit right in and carry them to the playoffs, like exactly like.
But so are the Niners. The Niners got killed by injuries. They're built to win right now, too. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I also think that, and I thought this yesterday when I first saw the news, I thought New England. But if he sees what's around, I think San Francisco's one. And I think Indianapolis would be number 2.
All right, let's move on to the next one. And Jake, I'm coming to you because it's your guy, Aaron Rodgers. No. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay, or will he retire, or will he end his career somewhere else?
Okay, Aaron Rodgers needs to stop acting like Ben Roethlisberger every time he loses a big-time game like this, because that's exactly what he does. Aaron Rodgers is going nowhere. He's going to make $76 million over the next 2 years. In fact, the highest paid of his contract is next year with $37 million, and then $39.85 million. So the next 2 years, there's no way. He is not going to become an unrestricted free agent until 2024. The Packers are going to be strapped on salary cap wise. They got to keep their best football player out there, and that's Aaron Rodgers. If the Packers decide to try and make a ridiculous trade, like 2 first-rounders and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a gigantic mistake. They gave Rodgers the money. You got to live by it, and so does Aaron Rodgers.
I understand that, Jake, but like with him being upset with the draft, with the season ending the way that it did, I mean, it might be like a Deshaun Watson where he forces his way out. And I mean, I know every team in the NFL will be on the phone like this trying to get Rodgers. Just saying.
Where do you think he winds up, Ruth?
San Francisco. Back to his hometown, baby.
Mike?
He's from that area. Who knows? Well,
you're close. You're close, Ruth. You're close, Ruth. You just have to go south down the Pacific Coast Highway.
Rams?
There is going to be a trade with the Rams. Sean McVay is licking his chops. So unfortunately,
right now.
Exactly.
I'm living in Florida right now, and I'm
here for it. I'm here for it.
Because
you guys need help.
Hold on, let me finish. Yes, we need a lot of help. Point is, Sean McVay will make a trade because now you have the best defensive player in the league defensive lineman. You have a top 3 corner, maybe top corner in the league. Your safety plays okay. Now you get Aaron Rodgers with that offense and the play action. Look, they'll trade Jared Goff. They'll jump. Sean McVay would dump 2 first-round picks, and he becomes a Los Angeles Ram in my fantasy world. Do I think it happens, Jake? Probably not, but I'm just saying if it does, the Rams are the team. We know they mortgaged things to get Goff. They would mortgage things to get a Super Bowl or 2 and bring Aaron Rodgers here to play with Aaron Donald. Lights out.
Okay, next guy up, one of my personal favorites, Mr. Deshaun Watson. Mike, back to you. Where does Deshaun Watson go?
Well, I am going with Ruth's first pick. I say Atlanta.
Okay. Jake?
I think Atlanta fits well for Deshaun Watson.
All right, Jake, what about you?
Either he goes to Indianapolis or he stays with Houston, regardless if they decide to hire one of the black head coaches like Jim Caldwell or Leslie Frazier.
So Deshaun Watson has been on the record of being in New York and being shopping around in that market with property and making stock investments. So I could see him going to the Jets just because, I mean, I could see it happening. I mean, why would he want to go to Atlanta after he was just complaining how terrible his defense was? And then he's going to go to Atlanta, who's had like the,
and where was the
defense in the NFL? Come on now. I don't see that.
The defense wasn't the issue
last year in total defense. He doesn't want that either.
Right.
Offense, the worst rush defense in the NFL with Houston.
Yeah, but the Jets have a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of salary cap space. So I could see him wanting to start something new in that franchise. I'm just saying, I think Deshaun Watson's one of the Jets.
Sam Darnold get kicked to the curb, man. The guy had nothing to work with, and he got better every week when he played.
Right.
Well, I mean, Robert Saleh, the new head coach for the Jets, have already been on the record saying that he's not convinced that Sam Darnold is the future. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Mike,
it's a
hold on. Let's be real
business.
for a minute, Mike. You mean to tell me Mama Carrot and Noodle don't want Deshaun Watson? Come on, baby.
Mama Carrot and
Deshaun Watson. I might have to buy Mama Carrot and Noodle and Deshaun Watson jersey, baby. It's on and popping.
Right. But what I'm saying,
look, what I'm
saying is Deshaun Watson
for everybody right now. You guys are living in a sports media fantasy land right now. This is like the story that everybody wants to break right now. And guess what? It's not going to happen. Okay. It's not going to happen.
Okay, he's staying in Houston, Jake?
He's not staying in Houston. He won't play. He'll take all money. He'll pull Le'Veon Bell.
So where is he going, Jake? Where's he going?
Right now is he's trying to test Houston to see if Nick Casario will actually bring in a guy like Eric Bieniemy or Jim Caldwell in there, somebody that he wants.
Well, Leslie Frazier's going in
for
his
if he doesn't get his way,
right
he's
now.
going to leave.
I don't see that happening. He's their best player, and he is owed millions of dollars. He's not an unrestricted free agent until 2026.
Trade clause.
So here's
that's what I was saying from the beginning. I said Houston needs to make that happen. I don't know what's been going on in the water with James Harden also making an exit. Like they need to make that work.
So here's my crazy scenario, and actually I have to give credit to Alex on this one. Alex said this is what you do. As crazy as this sounds, you trade Deshaun Watson for Carson Wentz straight up because they both got so much money, and let Deshaun come to Philadelphia. Please let Deshaun come to Philadelphia.
Oh my God, this guy!
That would be your saving grace.
Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni.
Madden 2021. I'm on it. But all right, let's keep going.
He was a quarterback coach for a little while. Like he dabbled with the quarterbacks. They need a quarterback guru in that place.
Let me say this real quick with Deshaun Watson. He wants to get out of there. He even said he doesn't care. Leslie Frazier's going in for his second interview tomorrow. So if Leslie Frazier gets dropped and smooth it out, I mean, Deshaun Watson also said, it's been through sources or so close to the situation, but he said, they wasted JJ Watt's prime. He's not going to waste his prime. He's not going to be there next year. So if it's the Jets, I wouldn't go there because of the offensive line. He had the worst offensive line the last 3 years, and he still was able to run for his life. You laugh, Jake, because it's true.
No, it's true. Look, he got sacked as much as David Carr.
Oh wow!
If not, you know what? I say he just goes up the freeway, and if they don't sign Dak, just
here we
Cowboys trade for Deshaun Watson.
And I'm the one that's crazy.
Ooh,
okay,
I heard something about that Deshaun Watson actually wanted to play for the Cowboys. So
I am not taking
anybody out for Dak Prescott. I would take Deshaun Watson. But
listen, if y'all want Deshaun Watson, That's fine. I'll take Dak. Since y'all don't want him, I'll take him.
You've been
do.
wanting Dak for a long time, Eric. How about you let everybody know how
exactly
you
where
really
Dak wants to go outside of Dallas. He wants to go
Okay.
around Rivera.
Next up, and we got to keep this moving. Although I love y'all, this is great, and I miss y'all. So Jimmy G, since we're talking about him possibly not being in San Francisco anymore, or someone else coming in and taking over his spot, Jake, where does Jimmy G go?
He stays in San Francisco, $52 million.
As a backup.
And you got to remind yourself, Jimmy Garoppolo needs another chance here. He was injured not once, but twice. He needs to get an opportunity where he can actually stay healthy. And when he did stay healthy, he was actually a very competent quarterback. They don't need to go out and get Matthew Stafford or Matt Ryan or anything like that. Keep the guy that you gave the money to. Otherwise, why don't you just make a phone call to New England and see if they can get Jimmy Garoppolo back over there? Otherwise, stop with this nonsense. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to stay in San Francisco. My goodness, guys, is this MLB hot stove or is it there for off season that doesn't start till March?
The TMZ Sports.
Ruth, where is Jimmy G going?
Jimmy G is going back to the Patriots. That's my call. I think
Right.
you know, Bill
I can see
Belichick was he believed in him before, and he probably believes in him now. And after the season that they had with Cam Newton, he would probably take anything he could. So Jimmy G is going back to the Patriots.
Mike, where's Jimmy G going?
Talking to some of my Niners people that covered the team, like Kyle Shanahan hasn't said it. He is not happy with Jimmy Garoppolo. If he can get Matthew Stafford, he can do a lot more things that he wants to do. I'm with Ruth. I say because Bill Belichick wants to prove a point, somehow it's going to have to get worked out money-wise, but he ends up back in New England. And he does well there because he's playing for Belichick. But Kyle Shanahan, look, he can't admit it publicly, but he's not the happiest with the way Garoppolo runs the offense. That's why they never threw the ball in the second half last year in the championship game.
Okay, Alex, really quick, since I got you back, before I go to the last guy, let me get you the four. Just give me a real quick answer.
The last guy? I say we
hold on. I want to get Alex on the first four real quick.
Okay.
Alex, I just need a real quick answer from you. Where do you think these quarterbacks are going to start their season next season? First guy is Matthew Stafford.
Indianapolis Colts or Atlanta.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Green Bay figures it out, actually gets him some damn weapons. He stays.
Deshaun Watson.
Ooh, that's a tough one. He's not going to play in Houston, so I'm thinking A, Jets, B, Miami, or C, the wild card, Minnesota.
Yo, Alex must have been watching this.
All right, so then, I have one more before we go to our last guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, which we were just talking about. Where does Jimmy G go?
To a porn star's house. Don't know, don't care. He sucks.
All right. So the last guy that I put on the 5. Yes, I want to know because I still say he's not going to wind up there. I don't care what the billion-dollar owner and his sons say in Jerry and Stephen Jones.
Thank you.
I don't think you're keeping him. I really don't. I think it's time, Ruth and Mike, you come to the realization Dak Prescott is not going to be your quarterback in the 2021 season. So that being said, Jake, 30 seconds, people. Where is Dak Prescott going to play next season?
If
Jake,
you want okay, for once, I'm going to go to Disneyland. I'm going to go to Tomorrowland right now, and I'm going to tell you the future. He's going to go to Ron Rivera, Martin Mayhew, and he's going to go to the Washington football team, and he's going to stick it to Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones because they should have given him the contract 2 years ago. They should have given it to him last year instead of franchise tagging him like he is Kirk freaking Cousins. And for the record, the Minnesota Vikings just gave an extension to Kirk Cousins, so he's not going anywhere. But Dak Prescott wants to get after the Cowboys. This is the right way to do it. He's going to go to the Washington football team, and he is going to go have some fun with Ron Rivera.
Oh, it's my turn. I would if it was any team in the NFC East, I would be okay with him going to the Washington football team. I think Ron Rivera is a well-respected head coach, and I think that they can make some magic with that great defensive line that they had. They had a powerhouse defense throughout the whole and they had, Antoine Gibson, which was also a really good running back. So we already know how that pair goes with a good running back and a quarterback. But I want him to stay in Dallas. And if he had to leave, I would choose the New England Patriots.
Okay, Jake, now you're in fantasy land, and that's okay.
Right.
Alex, I'm going to steal your line. You need to be drug tested. First of all. Secondly, look, he stays in Dallas. And no, yes, he was playing well 2 years ago. No, not the contract. We talked about this 1-2 in the playoffs. Everybody talks about Super Bowls and winning. And if Patrick Mahomes is the bar, look, Lamar Jackson's going to get a long-term deal. He's earned it. Dak has earned it. He will get the long-term deal. He'll be in Dallas.
He belongs in Dallas. That team is galvanized around him. You saw how bad they were without Dak Prescott. Hell, it took up until week 10, week 11 for people to pass his passing stats. However, the dark horse, if he does leave Dallas, I would love to stay in the division and go with Ron Rivera, because the one and only thing that the Washington football team is missing is a quarterback.
Right. Hey,
All
but
right.
no one liked Taylor Heineke. Come on now. I think he proved his point.
Nice story.
You know,
He did prove his point.
defense like
He
the
did prove his point. You're right about
Alex
that.
Smith
they're
has some ball left in him.
All right. So let's move on. I want to transition because we are a quarter of the way through the season in the NBA. And I just want to talk a little NBA right now because we have seen a lot of very interesting things happen. Now, I sent you guys over just, looking at stuff. The standings right now, there are 5 teams in the East. Surprisingly, and I didn't even know this, which shame on me, smack me, my 76ers at 12-5 are atop the Eastern Conference right now.
Today.
You didn't know that.
Sorry,
Sure.
we're 12-6. Sorry, we're 12-6.
Yeah, you
The
lost
Milwaukee
119-104 to the Pistons.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jake.
Oh, they lost.
Detroit,
Pistons?
really?
Wow.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
That's
Who
terrible.
was sitting out? Everybody?
Wow.
That's good, Ruth. That was good. No Joel Embiid.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well, that's everybody.
That's why. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So,
Dwight
all right,
Howard
let
tonight.
me get everybody's thoughts on so far this season with the NBA, because it is a condensed season, if you will. They're only playing 62 games. We're a quarter of the way through this season. Just give me your impressions based on what you saw. It could be the Eastern Conference, it could be the Western Conference, it could be a player, it could be a team. Mike, let me go to you first. Give me your thoughts on, what you've seen so far with the NBA.
I like what your Sixers have done. I mean, I've been from the beginning, like when we thought James Harden was going to, the trade there because of Daryl Morey. Obviously, I don't think Houston was going to do that. But that being said, I mean, Embiid, Simmons works well together. Yeah, he's not the greatest of shooters, but still a 6'9", 6'10" point guard that can get to the rack and get people shots. I like what they've done. Obviously, the Celtics, they get everybody healthy. I know that's always your that's been your Eastern Conference Finals pick a few times, Eric. And with obviously with good reason. I like what the Celtics are doing. The Nets, if they play defense, I mean, look, the Nets don't have to play defense. The thing is, like, they can outscore people. It's just going to go down to the end of every game. So whether
Except
they
Cleveland.
have except Cleveland, right? But I'm just saying that once
Colin
they start
Sexton
figuring
went
it out,
off.
he did go off. But
Jared
I
Allen.
mean, look, the Western Conference to
field
me is
goal shooting.
interesting. The Clippers aren't going to be judged until the playoffs, and I mean, everybody said that, but it's obvious because last year was all about Clippers. And again, you could understand why. Obviously, Kawhi there. You get Paul George. You have a guy like Patrick Beverly. The Jazz, the Nuggets are kind of interesting. I mean, they go to overtime games with the Suns, who are playing a lot better. But yeah, I mean, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Jazz. I mean, I'll throw Portland in there too. Damian Lillard just had twins, and the dude's he said he started playing better when his first son was born. Now he's got twins, so this guy might tear up the rest of the Western Conference. But I like what and don't tell us you didn't know your Sixers were in first place. That's funny. That's absolutely funny because Alex didn't believe you either. He was rolling his eyes when you said you didn't know the Sixers weren't in first place or had the best record. But I like what they're doing. I like what Doc Rivers is doing. But I think the Celtics. They get everybody healthy too. I think the Celtics become the team to beat in the East.
All right,
Right,
Ruth,
so-
Ruth, I'm gonna go to you. Give me your
The
thoughts.
Celtics have been without Jason Tatum since January 6th of this year. So he's missed a lot of games. And I mean, I'm glad that this has happened because it's starting to shine some light on Jaylen Brown and what he's been able to do for that team. And once they get a Kimball Walker back to health, I think the Celtics are not going to have an issue, especially when it comes to taking down somebody like the 76ers. I think it's really possible. For the Brooklyn Nets, that trio is going to be dangerous. Once they become in sync, like Michael said earlier, it's not really going to depend on their defense. They're going to be able to outscore every team that they play. I mean, when you have Kevin Durant, when you have Kyrie Irving, when you have James Harden scoring as many points as they do, I think they're not going to have any issue coming out the East. Clippers I hope they can hold it together. I like that they're in that number 1 seed. The Lakers obviously are 9-0 on the road, so it's already been able to show what they've been able to do. They're going for another conference title. I think it's going to be the Clippers Lakers at the end of the day.
Jake,
but I'm also happy with the Phoenix Suns as well, because they've been playing pretty well.
No, they're definitely a dark horse. Jake, I'm going to go to you.
I mean, it's classic Doc Rivers, so I'm not surprised that the Sixers are playing better, that Joel Embiid is having himself an MVP caliber season right now, and then they got Tobias Harris and Seth Curry came in because of Daryl Morey. The Bucks, that's a team that is starting to, come together now. Now they're starting to actually play together as a team, better defense, 10-6 on the year. Celtics tonight are taking it to my Bulls right now. Jason Tatum's back, 24 points tonight for him. And, the Pacers, this is a team I want to watch out for. The Indiana Pacers got better in that 4-team trade. And if you watch Malcolm Brogdon tonight, 36 points tonight for him. And now you mix that up in there. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, they just stole one of the best defenders in the NBA. Also a very good shooter, Jared Allen. And that is going to be a problem for the Nets. Now, I know that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and James Harden are out there right now, but you need a guy inside the paint for those big-time games when you need some defense, and you need a guy that's going to be able to shoot that shot when you need it. And Jared Allen has 68% shooting. He is leading the league in that. So I know that everybody wants to get high and mighty on the Nets right now, but flip the script. I'm not buying it because James Harden is there. And until James Harden can actually get to an NBA Finals without Kevin Durant or with Kevin Durant, let me know. Until then, I'm not buying the Nets for 1 second. Clippers and Lakers, I think they'll still be in it. Clippers have won 7 in a row. But the Utah Jazz have won 8 in a row. Trailblazers are starting to play better. Don't fall asleep on those Denver Nuggets either. And don't you fall asleep on the Golden State Warriors. Even though they're 8-8 right now, James Wiseman is getting better. And then Stephen Curry is having a phenomenal season, 28 points per game. And Steve Kerr is a terrific coach, and it goes to show. So just because right now the standings are the way that they are, they can change as the season continues. And it's a wacky season right now.
Mr. Fleming, I got about 2 to 2.5, 3 minutes left, sir. Do your thing.
I thought there was going to be a smoking section tonight, but since we're talking NBA.
Listen, I said that's for the show. Don't trust me. There is a smoking section. I'm going to let you talk NBA, though.
All right. Saw the Magic have a good win against the Charlotte Hornets. Toronto's not affected this year. I haven't given up on Miami, but they got a lot of issues. Brooklyn is 50-50. It can either work or it can't work. Harden right now is passing the ball because he knows that Irving is a cancer and Durant is just balling. I'm going to keep my eye on the Nets, but I like the Boston Celtics. I think they got all the ingredients. Milwaukee, regular season heroes, postseason, they crumble. So I got Boston. As far as the West is concerned, I mean, it's really only about 2 teams. Lakers, Nuggets. Clippers got softer after the homeboy who went to the Lakers. I like Serge Ibaka, but he's not Harrell. Utah, Shaq was right. Yeah, you're a playoff team, but you're never going to get over the hump. And I'm sleeping on Golden State Warriors with the fan on and the window open. They don't have enough firepower to compete in the Western Conference. And Portland, they just let me down. So, yeah, it's all about the Lakers and the Nuggets. I'm thinking, if I had to guess, Boston, Lakers, final.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, ladies and
are the Nets going to be able to make it to an Eastern Conference final?
Are the Nets? You're asking Alex.
Are the Nets going to be able to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? They have to face Milwaukee, so I'm going to say yes. But they don't have the bench. They mortgaged everything by getting James Harden. I'd have kept Allen, and I for damn sure would have kept a couple of cats that went to Indiana. But you know what? You win some, you lose some.
Right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for us at the Sports Arena. As Alex did mention, we are going to do a spoken section tonight. So this is not for the faint of heart. This is not going to be PC because we have a couple things we need to get off our chest. So I will promote the disclaimer and we will go from there.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
I got something real heavy to lay on you, man.
Now that's what I need.
Please feel free to join us in the smoking section because we with all the smoke.
For God's sake! Strap yourselves down.
Welcome to the smoking section, ladies and gentlemen. This is our opportunity to get some things off our chest. We have a couple things that we need to discuss. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Is there anything that you need to get off your chest? If not, sir, I'm going to say good night, and I will definitely talk to you later. You might not want to be around this conversation.
Oh, no, I'm good. I want to.
Okay.
There's a few things. I want to get off my chest.
Set the
All right.
timer.
All right. So, Mr. Caratenuto, you will have exactly 1 minute to say whatever you want to say. Get it off your chest. I only ask that you keep yourself to that 1 minute, number one. And number two, out of respect, let's not drop any F-bombs, all right?
Oh, yeah, no, never.
Your 1 minute, sir, starts now.
Yeah, my mom's watching.
No F-bombs. The whole championship game, this whole Packers talk, I know we talked about it earlier. I was absolutely fuming because, of course, when I make picks, I want to get them right. I cannot stand, obviously, the day after armchair quarterbacking, armchair coaching, all that stuff. But I will say this. There are people that have won and lost games and been on sidelines and have so much better body language and just everything than Aaron Rodgers. And body language to me is 95% of it. When you're out in the field, again, in this day and age with 25,000 cameras around, yes, it might be unfair. Everything gets picked up. But I am so sick of just seeing guys win, and they can only talk when they win. And then when they lose, it's the end of the world. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, it's your livelihood, and I get it. But it absolutely freaking annoys me how some act after games. And be a good sport. Again, you don't have to talk, but you don't have to sit there and act like it's everybody else's fault but yours.
All right, Mr. Rongholt or Miss Ruth the Truth, you are welcome to go next if you want to.
I'll be quick.
Miss Ruth the Truth, your minute starts now.
All right.
All right, I would just like to take a second to ask all the haters out there to send a formal apology to the Tampa Bay Bucks and Tom Brady especially for saying that they weren't even going to make it to the playoffs this year. I don't understand where they were coming from in that mindset when you bring somebody like Tom Brady who's used to that winning mentality and you plug him into a powerhouse offense and a team that had a pretty good defense from the start. All you had to do was eliminate the turnovers, eliminate the pick sixes, eliminate the interceptions. That's exactly what they did by removing Jameis Winston. Is Jameis Winston going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? I doubt it. Sean Payton obviously didn't have any faith in him when Drew Brees initially went down. He put in Tyson Hill instead. Obviously, I think his career is coming to an end because everybody is never going to forget about the 30 for 30. Everybody put some respect on Tom Brady's name. We're winning the Super Bowl, and regardless, we still made history. So that is all for me, folks. Catch me on the Martin Gramatica show tomorrow morning.
Mr. Rongholt, your 1 minute, sir, starts now.
The NFL head coaching hiring process has become a colossal joke right now. Dan Campbell got signed to a 6-year deal, even though he has only 12 games of starting experience as a head coach. Yeah, I brought in Deuce Staley. Yeah, I brought in Anthony Lynn. Good for that. Nick Sirianni, the reason that he got a job was and he didn't even wear a suit during an interview. He was actually all over the place, bearded up, and that's how he got the job. He didn't even wear a suit. Urban Meyer, college experience. Brandon Staley, defensive coordinator for the Chargers, and Arthur Smith for the Atlanta Falcons, a former offensive coordinator. How is Jim Caldwell? How is not Marvin Lewis, Leslie Frazier, and Eric Bieniemy not getting opportunity? Why am I seeing 3 general managers that are African-American in the NFL with Brad Holmes from Detroit, Martin Mayhew from the Washington football team, and 33-year-old Andrew Berry? The NFL has a colossal problem. And the first thing they got to do is they have to scrap the Rooney Rule and write up a new rule. The hiring needs to become more diverse in the National Football League.
Mr. Fleming, your 1 minute, sir.
I think it's a sham and it's disrespectful to have 76% of the players be black, yet we have 2 black coaches, 1 Hispanic coach, and 1 Lebanese coach who actually makes that Rooney Rule work because you know what? We hired a minority. You don't want to give power to people who make the game great, but yet you'll hold them accountable than people who are in authority. We just got done watching people have an insurrection at the Capitol, but you'll make excuses for them left and right. Yet let LeBron James or one of these athletes step out of line, and you want to jump their throat like they stole your money. That's like us picking cotton and you taking all the credit. Won't be the last time it happens, now will it? Here's all I got to say. If you don't like us having a voice and you just want us to shut up and dribble, then how about you allow us to work with people that look like us so we can perform better, because all you want is entertainment anyway.
Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, what in God's green earth were you thinking hiring Nick Sirianni? Deuce Staley, I'm glad you're gone, and I want to say thank you for your services to Philadelphia, both on and off the field, and training the next generation. But this is total BS. We had plenty of opportunity to bring guys like Robert Saleh, Eric Bieniemy, Leslie Frazier. Hell, bring in Marvin Lewis. But you ain't give nobody the time of day. And then you're going to try and tell with a straight face that you were doing what's best for the organization. No, let's be very clear about something. You were doing what's best for Carson Wentz. I said it when Doug Peterson got fired, and I'm still going to continually say it. Howie Roseman, you need to be gone. Carson Wentz, you need to be gone. I will be a Philadelphia Eagles fan till the day I die, but I'll be damned if I'm going to support you. I'm going to end my little rant by simply saying this. It's 2 lines, and y'all need to understand it. Every man is free of choice, but no man is free of consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. That's going to do it for us for the Sports Arena. Alex Fleming, Magic Perspective, Florida Sun Review, Central Florida's oldest black newspaper, and I'm going to say it, my brother next week, Super Bowl, Raymond James Stadium, me and him going to show you what we got in the works. You continually tell us no. Watch what we make happen. Michael Carrot-Tenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, my brother from another mother, and I love you, man. Jake Rongholt, Turning Point podcast, always tells both sides of the story. And the now, I got to call her what she is, the famous Miss Ruth Kekias, Ruth the Truth, Martin Gramatica Show, Beauty and the Cleats, the Tom Gronkowski Show. This girl is all over the place. You see this, ladies and gentlemen? This is what our world needs to be like. More diversity, more equality, and more inclusion. Have a great night.